Join me and my dad while we explore subscription boxes, the outdoors, gear and equipment, and other fun things and places. Before we get started, hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Ding! Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction, Miraculous Girl. And welcome everyone back to Exploring It All. So today, I think I'm releasing these on Saturday mornings. We're into part 3 of our Through the Looking Glass series, is what I'm calling this. So I think I mentioned in part 2, next up was going to be the Explorer, and then I realized, oh wait, you're kind of going over, because I'm kind of trying to go from smallest to largest. And so what we have here is a variation, I'm going to call it, of the Passenger. This isn't actually a Passenger. If you look closely on the scale here, you can see the indentation, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the lights and focus in here, but this is an Alpineer. The Alpineer was the Canadian version of the Passenger, so it was a special release. Now, mine does not have the metal inlay anymore. I got this one used probably off of eBay. And it does have the metal, and the other thing is you'll notice there's no shield on this. But this was metal, much like this, or some of the models with the fish and things of that sort. This was a metal, maybe heat stamp or something. I'm not sure exactly the process of how they do it. But mine's missing it. And there are some available, but they seem to want some outrageous sums, in my opinion. They want in the neighborhood of $350 to $400 for one of these that has the metal inlay on it still. At least that's the one I saw. I think $100 is probably more reasonable on one of these models. But, I mean, whatever you can sell a collectible for, that's what it's worth, I guess. Granted, the one that's for sale hasn't sold, and I think that $350, I think that's a buy it now price, so it's not selling. But anyway, so we're good. But this is the same model as the Alpineer. It's just like I said, the one scale doesn't have the metal inlay on it, and it is a little bit different than our 2 previous ones. We did the Scientist so far and the Yeoman, which both have the combo tool. This one does not. So, as always, let's start off with our scale tools. I like to kind of go from the back to the main tools. But you have the tweezers. These tweezers are in good shape. I believe these are the ones that came with it. I don't recall adding anything to it. And you have a toothpick. Of course, the previous owner may have. And you have the toothpick. So you have your standard tweezers. And I know a lot of you guys have already seen these and everything, but may have a new viewer or something. So, and here's the toothpick. So that is the 2 scale tools. Unlike the previous 2, which both were pluses, they have the one. Well, the Yeoman had the pinhole, and they both had the ballpoint pen. This one is not a plus scale; it is just a standard scale. Now, for our back spring tools, you have a fluted corkscrew. Now, the fluted corkscrew, the 4-loop fluted corkscrew, this ran from 73. We're going to kind of date these. It ran from 1973 to 1991. I've mentioned previously, the fluting, to my knowledge, serves no purpose other than to be decorative. If you know of another reason for the fluting, please comment. Let me know, because I can't find any reason other than decorative. And as I said, and this one may need a little cleaning, I don't know. There's no pinhole in the scale here, whereas the plus scales, the newer scales, have that pinhole. I think that started in like 91-ish. But anyway, so this corkscrew, like I said, it ran from 73 to 91, and then they went to the solid one after that. So next up, which I don't believe, no, the yeoman and the scientist, neither one had this tool, and that would be the awl. Now, this reamer awl, it does not have the sewing eye in it, and this particular one ran from 1961 to 1985. I can tell, I think I've cleaned this. There is oil, a little bit of oil on it. Has a little bit of the scale erosion, not the scale, the liner erosion in here. There's some dents and dings in this one. It's been used. Anyway, so you got your reamer awl, and that's unique because the other two did not have that. So next up in our main scale, the other two also didn't have this. Now this bottle opener, you'll notice, does not have the 90-degree stop. So this bottle opener ran from 1980 to 1985, and it does have the wire stripper, but it's not sharpened in here because previously to 1980, you had the wire stripper on the inside here that had a sharpened edge where you could kind of trim your wire. This will also trim and strip the wire because this is textured inside there. But again, this does not have that 90-degree stop. Now the other ones didn't have this because they had the combo tool, so they didn't have these two separate ones. And then in this case, you have your can opener with your micro tip screwdriver. Obviously, the screwdriver here too. But you have your can opener with your micro tip screwdriver. This can opener does not have the patent stamp or anything. This particular can opener has been it's still standard, and it has been since 1980. So you had two tools on that. So next up, you have the Phillips screwdriver. The Phillips screwdriver does have the 90-degree stop. I think it had the 90-degree stop when it was introduced, the inline Phillips, and it ran from 1973 to present. I believe it started with the magnifying glass, but it does have the 90-degree stop. It's probably what gave them the thought of putting the 90-degree stop on the bottle opener. And again, this particular Phillips is a little bit longer in comparison to your Phillips on the models with the light. They say this one's still in production. I don't have a current one to see if I got the longer or shorter Phillips, or they're doing the longer Phillips now still on the new current Explorers, which are in production. And when we get to the Explorer, I'll date mine and we'll see. Because they say this is still in production. They do use both the long and short versions of that. Some of these are actually magnetized. This one is, as a matter of fact. As you can see, there's a staple that I just stuck to that. So this Phillips is magnetized, and some of them came magnetized, some of them didn't. This one is. I didn't do that, so someone else may have, or it just came that way. You have your 8x magnifying glass, and as I said, and we're popping here in central Southern California. It's starting to pop into the high 80s here already. Here at the end of today's March 24th, I think. And so I'm hopefully maybe this weekend I'll get outside with one of these 8x, and maybe I'll even try the 5x as well, and be able to insert once I start getting to the end of the series. Whether or not I'm able to successfully start a fire with a Swiss Army knife magnifying glass using a char cloth is my plan. So anyway, you have the magnifying glass. This is what we're naming our series after. through the looking glass as we look at Swiss Army knives with the magnifying glass. Now next up, and again, the previous two models, the Yeoman and the Scientist, did not have this blade, and that is the small blade. They didn't have it because they had the combo tool. They were going for a slimline. This blade's in pretty good shape. It is the spear point blade, which this started in 1973. And this one has a fairly, well, then I mess it up. The edge is pretty good on it, I think, on the small blade. And considering this is probably 30 plus years old. And then our final blade here is our large spear point blade. Standard on all Swiss Army knives, I think, except for the My First, which has the blunt tip, or the serrated ones. With this tang stamp, the Victorinox Switzerland stainless rust-free is on this side, and you have the Officer Swiss on the opposite side with the crossbow. And based off all of the positioning of everything, I dated the tang stamp from 76 to 86. And I didn't find a specific production years for the Passenger, and they really didn't have production years for this particular model, the Alpineer. There was some special runs. It has been discontinued. There's been a few different special runs, and they were talking about at one time it being, excuse me, on the SAC Wiki site, that the model number for this actually, or for the Passenger, is the same model number for the Explorer. So there's some confusion with that as well. And again, our main blade, when I tested this one out, is just fine. Again, I don't think, I don't know, I may have touched this one up a while ago. I've had this one for a little while, but as you can see, it's got a nice little edge on it. The blade's in really good shape, just a few little scratches on it. So anyway, that is a look at the Alpineer in our Through the Looking Glass series. Continuing the updates on the Scientist, and I'll show it when I put it all. I've got one more final fine layer of sandpaper to go through on these scales. So far, they've turned out pretty good, getting out some of the smaller scratches and stuff. I'm not expecting to make them perfect, and I'm not trying to get out every little nick and ding, because there's some chips and stuff, and you're not going to get those out. But it'll look nice and smooth. I can't really do anything with this one. I don't know how you could do, I don't know how to do a photo etch or anything that I could get this inlay in there. I wish, I'm kicking myself. I saw one that had it that was much cheaper than what they're going for today. So I'm kind of kicking myself on that. But anyway, guys, hey, thanks for watching Through the Looking Glass series here. Next up, I think we will be doing the Explorer. Look for our videos every Saturday morning. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps the channel, helps us grow. Our viewership is quite high, but our subscriptions are not. And so if you guys can take the time to give us a subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, guys, remember, be nice to each other. So guys, that was a look at the Victorinox Alpineer. This is the third in our Through the Looking Glass series. I dated this knife between 1980 and 1985. That's the closest I could nail it down to. If I missed something, let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, guys, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and remember, be nice to each other.